Well, imagination connoisseurs, there's only 3 days left. That's right, 3 days left to get your entries in for the first annual Intergalactic Imagination Connoisseurs Film Festival poster.
Yes, you need to clarify because people might think their movies are due in 3 days when it's just the poster.
Well, I hadn't got to the poster. I mean, the poster's up.
Yes.
See, people are seeing the poster.
Right, but still, sometimes people get confused. So it's the poster due in 3 days.
Yeah, the poster competition's due in 3 days. September 30th.
But films aren't due until
December 1st. That's correct. But the entry forms will be available. We open up the contest on Thursday, the 1st of October.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Are you excited? Well, I'm excited too.
I can't wait to see movies.
Let's hope people get in and get into it.
Make your movies.
And look, there's the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, with her hair changed to being blonde.
Yes, blonde.
That's great. Very excited to talk about this movie.
Yes, I know you are.
No, I mean, I really am.
I mean,
very much so.
The poster is in our bedroom.
The Polish poster is in our bedroom. How do you feel about that?
It's fine. It's in the hallway leading to the bedroom.
Well, yeah, it is. William Friedkin's 1985 masterpiece, To Live and Die in L.A., his indie movie.
Was it?
Well, pretty much. Kind of like an indie movie. We're going to talk about it, though. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and your sommelier of cinema, Robert Meyer Burnett. And I'm here with my lovely compatriot, whose show this is. Who might you be?
I'm Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell. I am the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment.
The enchantress of entertainment. And what show is this?
This is Whining About Movies.
It's Elizaviews.
Yes, Elizaviews.
Whining
That's
About
me.
Movies.
Elizaviews, my views.
Yes. Well, we're talking about one of my favorite directors, William Friedkin,
Yes.
a man who had his early career was very successful. His later career maybe not as much. Yet all of his films are interesting and worth watching. Yes, even The Guardian. Shh. But he didn't even talk about that in his autobiography. I was very upset. But anyway.
I'm sorry.
This film is almost 35 years old. It celebrates its birthday. Its 35th birthday is November 1st.
Oh.
And before we celebrate that birthday, we're going to talk about what bottle of wine we are drinking as we are gearing up.
You're
Gearing up. Gearing up for... Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Wait, what was that?
I don't know. Something's... Let's go back to this camera. We have a bit of a technical difficulty there. A technical glitch. Let's see what the problem is. Hang on.
You made me disappear.
I did make you disappear. That's not good. Not good at all.
You took me off of my own show.
No. Come on now. Well, for whatever reason, this camera is, we have, I feel like I'm drunk. The camera's cutting out. I wonder why. Maybe we can only do the show from this camera angle.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's not good.
What did you do to it?
I don't know. Sometimes, these things happen. We have technical difficulties. We're going to have to work through it. That's what indie filmmaking is all about.
Fine.
That's what indie film. We can talk about it like looking this way. We can just look up at the camera. Well, so this is a red wine. It's, what is this? Dark Waves.
Dark
Waves. And this is a red blend, and you got this at?
Of course, Trader Joe's.
At Trader Joe's. So why don't I pour it up for you?
Yes.
That's really strange. I don't know why the camera...
There's no way to fix it?
Well, I could try. I mean, I can try and fix it as we're on the fly. It's hard. This is one of the things that happens with live television. It's sort of frustrating. I don't know why. What's really interesting is I am just noticing that the camera is not on. I certainly can try again. I think there's a way I can...
Oh, it's not on?
No, our camera's not on. So why don't you explain... First of all, Elizabeth.
Yes.
To Live and Die in L.A.
To Live and Die in L.A.
This is a film that William Friedkin made after, of course, the celebrated William Friedkin had made He started out early on. He was making, I believe, documentaries. Then he made like The Boys in the Band. He made The French Connection, of course, lauded for this. He made The Exorcist. He made Sorcerer, which is a remake of Henri Clouseau's The Wages of Fear. Sorcerer is an amazing movie. He also used Tangerine Dream to score Sorcerer, electronic music.
I haven't seen it.
Well, we could watch it. It's fantastic, which tells you why he tapped Wang Chung after their first album, Points on the Curve, to score this particular film. He had made Cruising, the very controversial Cruising with Al Pacino, another great thriller. By the way, a fantastic Blu-ray that Arrow put out. This Blu-ray is the Shout Select disc they put out in 2016. It's a great disc, a lot of great special features. And,
cool.
Yeah, so Elizabeth, what is To Live and Die in L.A. about?
It is about an artist.
It is. Rick Masters. Rick Masters, the artist.
It is about a Secret Service agent seeking revenge.
Well, wait a minute. You can't say revenge. It's part of the plot.
Right. It's part of the plot. Okay, so let's just get into the plot. So, let's see. How does it start? It starts with...
Well, it starts out
Oh, yes.
with Ronald Reagan has
Yes.
come to give a speech at the Beverly Hilton Hotel.
Uh-huh.
During the height of his presidency. The movie, by the way, is set... It's set in about... It starts out December 20th, so it takes place over a period of a month.
Right.
And it begins with Jimmy Hart and Richard Chance are Secret Service agents.
Yes.
Now, Secret Service agents...
Gil Grissom.
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 So, Secret Service agents, and they are on presidential duty, presidential detail, where they're protecting the president. In the opening scene, William Peterson, who plays Richard Chance, later to be seen as Gil Grissom on CSI, also playing in Manhunter. Michael Mann tapped him. It's interesting. He's in Michael Mann's movie Thief that I love. Friedkin brought him in on this, and then Michael Mann the next year used him to play FBI profiler Will Graham in Manhunter, based on Red Dragon, the Thomas Harris
Yes.
Red Dragon.
I remember that.
And Friedkin tapped him for this. This was really his first starring role, and I think he's fantastic.
He's so
His
great.
bravado, his swagger, his homoeroticism.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about... You see his peen.
You see his peen.
You see his peen. So this
do.
guy threw himself into the role. I think his performance, to quote our friend from Almost Famous, is incendiary. He delivers just a bravura performance. Love it, love it, love it.
I love him, so I thought he was great.
He was terrific. So he's on presidential duty, and
yes.
the more things change, the more they stay the same. An Islamic terrorist, death to Israel and America,
Yes, he
and to all the
sees
enemies
him,
of Islam.
And he chases him up to the roof, and he catches him right when he's about to detonate a bomb. He's right on the edge of the roof, and he's trying to talk him down. And his partner comes up from behind, climbs the building somehow, and pulls the guy off the roof, basically. And
he detonates the bomb.
Yes, the bomb detonates, and and the guy dies, the terrorist dies, and then you see them resting on the roof.
And I'd like to point out that Jimmy Hart, the actor who plays Jimmy Hart, actually says, "I'm getting too old for this shit," predating Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon by 2 years.
2 years. They stole that line.
You know, I wouldn't... Shane Black could have, absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, you never know. But Michael Green plays Jimmy Hart. I think Michael Green does a great job as the veteran agent. He's the older agent, just like Murtaugh was in Lethal Weapon.
And he's about to retire in like 3 days. And he, so you see him, like, I keep calling him Gil.
Richard Chance.
Richard Chance.
Yes. Just call him Chance.
Okay, so that's his character name?
Yeah.
Chance. Okay. So Chance gives him like a retirement gift, a fishing
Well,
pole.
you're skipping over the fact that Richard Chance is an adrenaline junkie.
Oh, yes.
And he's base jumping off of a bridge.
Yes,
and
basically.
it's like the first time he's ever done. It insinuates the first time he's done it because he gets he gets money at the end because people thought he wouldn't do it because it's really scary.
Yeah.
So he's an adrenaline junkie.
He is.
And he likes the action. He likes to be out on the street.
He does.
And yes, and then it's Jimmy Hart's retirement party.
Yeah, and he gives him a fishing pole, and he's about to retire, and then you see him trying to wrap up a case that they had.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart. Well, in the beginning of the movie, I have to say that one of the great things about To Live and Die in L.A., what I love about it, Robbie Mueller, the great cinematographer, shot this movie, and it is shot at no L.A. landmarks. The L.A. of this movie is the scuzzy flatlands.
Yeah, it doesn't look like L.A. at all.
No, it does. It looks like half of L.A.
It's none of the L.A. that most people go to.
No, it's not. It's industrial L.A. If they could ever get behind a building in the alleyway, they will get into that in this movie. This is the most grungy, sun-drenched asphalt.
Yeah.
It's the L.A. that they never show you in movies.
Never.
And it goes from San Pedro to the waterfront all the way to the warehouses of downtown.
Yeah, and San Pedro is not L.A.
Well, no, but
and they come all the way to Pasadena, which is not L.A. either.
And that's true, but hang on.
That's the only part I recognize.
So the opening of this movie, remember, we're peak 80s, mid 80s.
Yes.
The opening of this film has the Wang Chung title track, To Live and Die in L.A., that was only written after they saw a rough cut of the film.
Yeah.
And it's great. The song is great. And you see this incredible, after the opening, the sequence, you see this incredible montage over the opening credits of all of this counterfeit money that's spilling out through downtown LA. All this counterfeit money that is, it's everywhere. Everybody's buying it, and you see through actual imagery of it going on, and then you see pictures of this FBI investigation. They've been looking for a counterfeiter, Willem Dafoe, Rick Masters, for a long time.
Yeah.
This is an ongoing investigation, and it's done in such a cool way, and they kind of introduce some of the images.
Well, I mean, when he's actually printing the bills, is that before?
No, that's later.
That's after, okay. Because I thought that was fascinating, because I took a print-making class, and I was, like, really paying attention to see, like, if the way they filmed it was actually how you would go about printing, and it was very, very accurate.
Oh yes, no, they got in trouble for that.
They
actually had a real counterfeiter show them how to counterfeit money, and they were doing it for real. And I mean, William Friedkin
It looked very real to me.
One of the reasons that I always call myself the viceroy of verisimilitude, part of that is because of William Friedkin. What William Friedkin did, as far as filmmaking is concerned, as far as American studio filmmaking was concerned, is he sort of ushered in, he came out of that documentary tradition, and he brought a documentary style to his work. And that documentary style grounds everything he does. There's an authenticity to everything that he does, almost a clinical authenticity. And there's a story I read once where he told his cinematographer on The French Connection, like Gene Hackman was coming out of, Popeye Doyle was going to come out of a bar. And the cinematographer was like, well, is he going to go left or right? And the camera was across the street. And William Friedkin wouldn't tell him. Because he wanted to get that a bit of adjustment. Uncertainty, so that creates that more realistic.
More real. Mm-hmm.
And The Exorcist had that. It's very clinical. And that's why people believe The Exorcist works so well, is because it's so authentic. You really believe it's happening.
Right.
And this, what's really interesting about this film is there is that. But there also is that artificiality, that counterfeit nature of life in Los Angeles, where everybody's kind of, no one's really telling each other the truth, and everybody's got something going on, and everyone's got some kind of a side hustle of some kind, and yet none of the glamour of LA. This is the most unglamorous LA movie maybe ever made.
Yes.
It completely stays away from any place that you've ever known or recognized. Yeah. Those antiseptic federal buildings, and then the horrible industrial flats, because this is a desert. But the horrible asphalt desert is where this whole movie is set.
Yeah, I mean, you do kind of recognize when they're driving in the LA River, which is not really a river.
But it's the LA River, unlike Greece, when you watch the end car race in Greece, but it's gross. I mean,
It's gross.
There's gross standing water. There's homeless people that live there.
Yeah,
It's just it's a world you don't even want to go in.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about this movie. This movie, to me, is apocalyptic. I've always felt that this movie exists on the edge of the end of the world. And it is indeed. I mean, you're literally on the precipice of a personal apocalypse, a professional apocalypse, and maybe the world is going to end.
I don't get that from this film.
Well, I'll explain to you later why I feel that way.
Okay, good.
So yes, so Jimmy Hart says, I'm going to go. I've got a lead on Masters. And Richard Chance asks him, well, let me go with you. No, it's something
He says no, and he goes alone, and he goes to this warehouse where they had a lead. And he's poking around and goes to look in the dumpster, and Willem Dafoe sees him through a, I don't know why he's in the horse carriage thing, the horse trailer, but he's looking at him through a horse
because he heard
trailer.
yeah.
And then his partner comes around the corner and just blasts him. Just like blasts him. Ooh, we're back. Oh no, you're enlarging us.
I am enlarging us. I can't get that other camera live, so what I am going to do live, like the fine director that I am, I am going to. This is not normally what happens on this show, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to bring us. So there we go.
There we go.
We're a little bit more palatable now.
Yeah, that's better.
You like that?
Yeah.
So Jimmy Hart gets gunned down.
He gets gunned
in
down
a brutal fashion by Rick Masters and his bodyguard as well. His man Friday.
Yeah. Okay, so he's dead.
He's dead. Jimmy Hart's dead, and then the cops show up later. Willem Dafoe's long gone, but William Peterson shows up with a cadre of federal officers, federal agents, and
yes,
they find
they're looking around, and the whole warehouse is empty,
except for the dryer.
For the dryer that still has poker chips in there,
so they can launder the money.
Yeah,
for real.
For real. They really do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sees blood dripping out of the dumpster, and he looks inside, and he's just, speechless, basically.
Yeah, no, it was it's very horrible. They don't actually show, thank God, they don't show Jimmy Hart's dead carcass shot in the face.
Yeah, which is okay. I'm glad they didn't, but they did show a lot of gross.
Oh yeah, this movie's brutal, and the violence in this movie is fast and shocking, like real life. I mean, it doesn't linger. It's
like real. You have experience in real life with people's faces getting shot off?
No, but I would imagine that it happens very fast. Look, it's not. This movie is not. There's no romanticism.
No.
In this movie, really, at all.
No.
They don't romance law enforcement. It's very sort of in your face.
Yep. Yeah.
So Jimmy Hart's dead, and Richard Chance is on the warpath.
Oh, he is pissed. Like, he wants vengeance.
He wants vengeance, and he's going to bag Masters. He doesn't give a shit how he does it.
He doesn't care.
This is another movie, by the way, where I can recite the whole film from beginning to end, pretty much.
Oh, really? Because you didn't.
I know. I refrained.
We were watching.
I just did. I just quoted it. I'm going to bag Masters, and I don't give a shit how I do it. I hear you. So then douchey John Vukovich, played by John Pankow, who's kind of the douchey douche.
Why is he douchey?
Well, he's just kind of he's kind of a by-the-book wannabe
That's
guy.
not a douche.
All right, well, so John Pankow, we know people know John Pankow from later. He was in sitcoms and
yes.
So, but he early role for John. He's going to team up with Richard Chance, and they're going to go after Masters.
Yes, they get assigned to each other.
Now, at the same time, we're also going to now delve into Rick Masters' world.
Yeah.
So Rick Masters is an artist. He's a fine artist like you. He burns his paintings.
He does burn his paintings.
He's also got a Deborah Feuer, his very, very hot redheaded girlfriend, who has all kinds of tendencies. Bianca Torres. who is written as being mulatto in the script, but she's certainly not. She talks about how when she went to go to the audition, she was worried that she wouldn't get it because she's supposed to be mulatto in the script, but she wasn't. They hired her anyway because of the heat she generated with Willem Dafoe.
Yes.
And how did you feel about young Willem Dafoe?
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Yeah, he was so young.
Willem Dafoe coming off of Catherine Bigelow's first co-directed feature, The Loveless. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Walter Hill's Streets of Fire. He played Raven Shattuck, the villain in Streets of Fire, and now he plays Rick Masters in this movie.
Yeah.
What'd you think of him?
I thought he was brilliant. I think he's brilliant in everything he does. I think he's just an amazing actor.
This film has a incredible cast. Mm-hmm. I mean, incredible. Let's, as we meet people, so we've got Willem Dafoe, William Peterson, John Pankow, Deborah Fewer. Now let's meet John Turturro.
Yeah.
John Turturro, in an early role, is one of Rick Masters' mules. He carries Rick Masters' paper, his bad paper, around, sells counterfeit. He's a mule. He carries counterfeit money around.
Funny money.
His funny money. And he's at the airport going to, I guess, San Francisco or something to sell the money.
Yep. And and they're there watching him, and he pays in cash. And then they check out the cash, and it's definitely counterfeit, so then they chase him down.
They chase him down the football game at the airport.
Yes.
And it's a great scene. And, they got in trouble. William Peterson was not supposed to jump up on those moving...
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to jump up, and they did that. They actually shot a rehearsal, and he did that in the rehearsal, and they got in trouble. The airport police did not want him to do that, but it looks badass, and I'm glad he did. And it's a great scene.
So
where
they used the rehearsal where he jumped up on
where
there?
he jumped, because they couldn't get a
cool.
second take. Friedkin apparently shot a lot of these scenes as rehearsals. A lot of first takes were used in this because he wanted to get the immediacy of what people would do, and I think that really serves the film well. And you had, basically, this was an indie movie. I mean, William Friedkin was not like at Warner Brothers making Exorcist where they could shoot and shoot and shoot on the stages. Mm-hmm. This was shot mostly on real locations. Oh. Like, there was very little...
It looks very real.
Yeah, if any was... I don't think any of it was shot on a set.
Wow.
It was all practical locations.
Very cool. So they catch him, and they put him in jail. And then what happens?
Well, they put him in... He's up in Obispo, San Luis Obispo prison. And Rick Masters...
Well, why would they put him in prison all the way up there?
Because that's where those kinds of criminals go, I guess. They didn't put him in L.A. County where it's always a party. Because you know everybody down in L.A. County.
Wow, okay.
So he's in Obispo. And we are introduced to the great Dean Stockwell. Dean Stockwell plays Bob Grimes, Willem Dafoe's lawyer.
His lawyer.
And they got to get him out because Rick Masters is afraid that Cody, John Turturro's character Cody, he's going to crack in jail because he's got an ulcer, he can't handle it, and can they get him out?
Right. So they're trying to figure that out, but they didn't allow bail or anything. Like, he's in there, and the lawyer is like, well, I don't think that we can do much to lessen his sentence or anything, and so then Willem Dafoe is like worried that he's going to end up talking if he's in there for so long. So then he hires
bring in another awesome actor, the great prince, the Nubian prince Steve James, who if anybody who loved movies like American Ninja with Michael Dudikoff and Steve James, I mean, Steve James is just like built. He's just a beautiful specimen of manhood. I love Steve James. I love his voice. I love everything about Steve James. When Steve James shows up in any movie, it just gets that much cooler. So Steve James, like, is the king of the hood. Like, in South Central, we don't really know.
Yes.
Willem Dafoe moves some money through him. Rick Masters moves money through Steve. But Masters goes to Steve James and basically says, look.
He offers him money to...
Well, they negotiate $75,000 and $20 counterfeit bills.
He didn't want the $100 bills.
Because $100 bills ain't popular in this neighborhood. So I mean, it's so great. It's and it's I just can't. Steve James, by the way, I believe he died of cancer
Oh.
at a very young age. But every time he shows up in any movie in the '80s, the movie gets that much better. And so Steve James takes the job. His people in Obispo are going to kill John Turturro's Cody.
They're gonna kill him. So they try, and he's onto them as they're walking towards him.
There's a scene they go up.
They didn't plan it out very well. They could have secretly like walked up to him and stabbed him, but no, they're like coming across the yard, and he sees them coming, and he puts two and two together. So they just like fight, and then the guards come and split it up. So he doesn't get killed.
Now I gotta say, when we see Cody, there's a great William Friedkin in-joke that he's inserted into this movie.
Oh yeah, what is it?
So, Friedkin's 1977 passion project Sorcerer, that stars Roy Scheider, was opening at the Chinese Theater, and basically Star Wars pretty much killed Sorcerer, and this was his passion project. It was really hard to make. He busted his ass, and Star Wars really destroyed Sorcerer at the box office. This movie they worked so hard on. So
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Sorcerer is very good. So there's a conversation that Cody's having with his prison mate about what movie's showing tonight. Some galactical war shit. And Cody says, I hate that space shit, man. And his friend says, yeah, but it's science fiction, man. I mean, it's just this quick exchange. And it's Friedkin just dissing Star Wars without saying Star Wars. I've always loved that in this movie. So good on you, Billy.
That's hilarious.
Nicely done. Let's drink to Hurricane Billy. To Billy Friedkin. I call him Billy. I've actually met him 3 times.
That's amazing.
Met him at USC. He actually signed my laser disc of To Live and Die in LA.
Your laser disc, yeah, that's really valuable.
It is to me.
Your eyelid was twitching. You were like, what are you saying?
Anyway, so Cody survives the hit. He survives
the hit, and they take him into protective.
Well, William Friedkin, Richard Chance sees an opportunity.
Yes.
Like, I'll get you out of here.
Yep. He tries to make a deal with him. I'll put you on parole if you testify against Masters, and you show me how he is making the money.
Now, I have to say, in another great, if this movie didn't already have a great cast, Robert Downey Jr.'s father, Robert
saw his
Downey,
name in the credits.
is William Peterson's Richard Chance's commanding officer.
Oh,
the gray hair. I was just gonna call you.
Okay, yeah, I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, oh.
Commanding officer, Robert Downey Jr.'s father, Robert Downey Senior. He's in this movie too.
He is.
So, William Peterson, Richard Chance, gets Cody out of San Luis Obispo.
He does. He gets him out. And
they go to the hospital to see Cody's daughter.
Oh, yeah, he's like, on the way to the warehouse. Can we stop at the hospital? It's on the way. I need to see my daughter. She's in the hospital. And at first, Chance is like, what? What are you talking about? Your daughter? He didn't believe him at first, but then he fell for it, and they stopped at the hospital, and he's like, "Well, are you going to go up with me?" And he does, and then he unlocks his
handcuffs.
And so
actually, Richard Chance is showing compassion to Cody.
Yeah, he is.
I don't want your daughter to see you like this. Let me take the handcuffs off. Big mistake. So when they get off the elevator, he basically beats the shit out of him. Yes, John Turturro fucks him up.
He does, and then he leaves.
He escapes.
Yeah. Come to find out, the name he gave him was the name of another prisoner's wife.
Yep.
That was actually in the hospital, but she was an adult, not a kid.
Now, the doctor who tells him this is actor Dwyer Brown, who ends up playing one of the lead roles in Friedkin's later film, The Guardian. Now, other than The Guardian and To Live and Die in L.A., I've never seen Dwyer Brown in anything else.
Anything else? Interesting.
But anyway, that's just a connection. Actors like to, directors hire the same kind of
Yeah,
this
I mean,
actors.
if you
It's
work
good.
with somebody and you like them, you're going to keep working with them.
Now, we also meet Darlan Flugel, who people might know as the love interest from Battle Beyond the Stars, which is not a movie that William Friedkin directed. But she basically plays Richard Chance's informant, on parole girlfriend, criminal girlfriend.
I wouldn't call her his girlfriend. I would call her his booty call.
Yeah, definitely his booty call.
Because he is not nice to her. He's a dick.
He is so mean to her. He
So
just shows up
terrible.
at any time,
Yeah.
has his way with her, threatens her.
Yeah. She's like, well, I'm scared. Well, if you don't help me, I'll put you back. I'll take you off parole.
She plays Ruth.
I feel sorry for her. But
what? Oh, well, why don't you say it?
what? I don't give away the end.
No, the lovemaking scene. Oh, I thought you were talking about that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You see his peen.
Yeah, there's authenticity. They don't talk about whenever you. It's funny because we see naked women in movies a lot, but it's seldom.
It's never the guys.
It's never the guys, but we do in this. It's
Quite
full
a bit
on.
actually. There's quite a bit of male nudity in this film.
Yes, there is a lot of male. This movie's very homoerotic.
Yes.
The relationship there's another thing, like when Willem Dafoe, when Masters meets his girlfriend for the first time, and she's an avant-garde dancer at these clubs, and there's this great moment where when you meet her for the first time, you follow what you think is a guy from the back. I mean, it's totally a guy. And then he walks up to Willem Dafoe to Masters, and they passionately kiss. The camera reverses, and
her.
it's Deborah Fewer.
I was wondering. I was like, that looked like a guy. I thought it was just my mind playing tricks.
William
on me.
Friedkin loves his homoeroticism. I mean, he made The Boys in the Band. He made Cruising. Now he's got his... this is basically about two guys. This movie is ultimately about two men that want to fuck each other. Figuratively. They want to fuck each other up. But there is a lot of push-pull homoeroticism in this film.
There is.
And it's not hidden. It's quite overt.
It is.
And like that. Like, why do you think he did that? Why do you think he made the audience believe that Rick Masters is kissing a man and before you're like, oh, it's actually a woman?
I don't know. Why? Why would he do that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm asking you. Like, why do you think...
Because he thought it was cool?
Why? I mean, I don't know. It's a very specific choice. It makes you... It's pretty shocking. And what I love about it is, it's said early on in the film that everything in this movie, it's all about counterfeit. People lead counterfeit lives in this movie.
Yes.
They have counterfeit motivations. People are searching for, I guess, a reality in this film. I mean, nobody, and I think that was the way of Friedkin saying that, everything in this movie, there's a certain unreality to all of this.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
And so then we find out about Max Waxman, a lawyer that might have sold, we skipped over this, but might have sold Cody out. Before
Right.
Cody was popped by the police at the airport, he stopped at a lawyer's, Max Waxman, a hippie lawyer in Pasadena, whose
Right.
office is literally down the street from where we live.
Yeah, down the street.
Down the street.
Down the street.
On Walnut and Los Robles.
Yeah.
And we look, the
We
church
go by
is still
that church all the time.
Yeah, the church is still there. So Max
But,
Waxman.
well, we don't see him doing that. He tells Masters. Masters is like
Cody
well,
tells Masters
Cody tells Masters when he comes to visit him that Masters is like, well, Waxman is saying that you didn't give him the money, and he's like, of course I did. It's in his safe behind his desk.
I put it in $10,000 packages,
Just
like
like
you
you said.
told me, and counted it out on his desk.
Yep. He's like, and it's in his safe behind his desk. So then later on, you see Masters going to. Well, actually, first his girlfriend goes.
Well,
there.
he sends Bianca in there.
Yes.
To say, do you want to buy some more money?
Right. She goes in there and she's smooth talking.
Smooth talking, seducing him.
She seduces him, and in walks. But before she seduces him, she opens the door wide open, and it's raining out.
Because she likes the rain. Well, she's got him all fired up.
Yeah, she does. He's like rare.
Opens the door, so.
Opens the door. Oh, I love the rain. And then she sits on the couch. Come over here.
And he's basically trying to go down on her, and then Willem Dafoe,
then
Rick Masters walks in.
He walks in. He's like, first you steal my money, and then you.
Then you try to fuck my lady.
Yeah, and the guy starts freaking out, of course. And he makes him go to open the safe. And he opens the safe, and the money's there. And the guy, when Masters is getting the money out, grabs a gun and shoots him in the shoulder.
No. He grabs a piece of art. 18th century Cameroon.
That's true, that's right.
And smashes, your taste is in your ass. And smashes, I mean, it's so great because so Max Waxman smashes Rick Masters over the head with this art. And Masters picks up the art and looks at it and goes,
like,
18th century Cameroon, your taste is in your ass. And shoots him again, homoeroticism, shoots him right in the crotch.
Right in the crotch, yep. And then shoots him in the head.
And kills him.
Kills him, and yeah.
Which blows the case wide open. Richard Chance and John Vukovich are doing surveillance. Blows their case wide open, and then Vukovich is horrified to discover Richard Chance has stolen Max Waxman's contact book of all the people he's dealing with, selling money to. So they have...
So, yes, Vukovich is very by the book and doesn't break the rules, and so this really bothers him that his partner just took that, it's evidence, and he just took it. And then he's like, well, are you going to turn me in? And he's like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. We're partners. So this is the beginning of the corruption of Vukovich.
Yeah, the corruption. Again, it's the last temptation of John Vukovich. and he's in over his head.
Yeah, he's in over his head. Like, he does not like that this happened, but he's not going to do anything about it because this is his partner.
I mean, a man, while they're on surveillance, a dude dies. Straight up, a lawyer dies that could have been an informant because, Vukovich was asleep.
Yeah, yes, they both
were asleep. Vukovich was asleep, and
the priest brought them. They're like in the church watching this, and the priest brings them cookies and milk.
And the priest says, "Can I get you something else?"
I thought that was so funny. Cookies and milk. It was Oreos and milk. Anyway,
that was great. By the way, I did that. Did you like my impression of that priest?
Yes.
That was my perfect line. Can I get you something else? It's a perfect line. Come on, man.
What more could you need than cookies and milk?
Especially on a police,
When you're on surveillance, come on, that's all you need.
But I have to say that what I really like about all of this is, and when I talk about this movie being apocalyptic, in this film, people lose their lives. I mean, you never know LA this is a hard, the portrayal of LA in this movie is literally, I feel it is apocalyptic because your life could be over at any time. You're being corrupted. You're sinning. Your soul is constantly there are constantly forces pulling at your soul. I mean, Richard Chance, it was already an adrenaline junkie, but when Jimmy Hart dies, there's something that he lost, and he's willing.
It pushes him.
He's compromised, and he's willing. He's basically
willing to do anything to get back.
He's
at this
damned.
guy.
I mean, Richard Chance is damned, and
he's willing to corrupt others to make it happen.
Yes. I mean, he's given up any boundaries that he has, and I think that's.
And it's not even about justice anymore. It's just about revenge.
Right. Right. It's not. Yeah. It's just about revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to go through the law and put him in jail. No, he wants to kill him.
Yes.
So
now they have this book, they start going after people that are involved with Masters.
Right.
And also Chance is already in trouble because Cody escaped.
Right.
And then finally, so they're going after Masters' contacts. They realize what they need to do is they have to get close to him.
Yes, they have to pose as customers,
Customers.
basically. And so they go to meet him. How do they meet him? They get somebody to introduce one of the people in the book. So they introduce them to him, and they're posing as
doctors in Palm Springs.
Yeah, that deal with some bank in
the Cayman Islands. Dutch Antilles.
Yeah. And so they want to buy $1 million of counterfeit money.
But Rick Masters always asks, he goes, fine. And by the way, Rick Masters is on to them. Like, because people have tried, they say, Robert Downey Sr. says, we've had agents get close to Rick Masters before, and he always asks for a lot of, like, you have to advance.
Yeah.
He wants 20% of the money, but you have to put up $30,000 to get close. He won't start the job unless you give him $30,000 and then pay the rest.
Okay, I don't see why that would be an issue.
Well, it's an issue because the government will not give them. They have to put that money up in advance to get Rick Masters. They won't do it.
They do it all the time.
But they'll only put up for the Secret Service. They'll only put up $10,000. So Richard Chance, they won't get enough money to be able to get Rick Masters to print money and give it to them. So they need 30.
But the FBI will give money.
No, the FBI is only going to advance him $10,000. They won't give him the $30,000 he needs.
Yeah, but without giving away another part of the film, the FBI did give $50,000.
Well, okay, yes, but what I was going to say is they need to figure out a way. How can they get $30,000 that they need?
Right, which I don't understand why their agency didn't just give them the money so that they could.
Because the Secret Service policy is that we only give $10,000. We only go up to $10,000. That's part of the bureaucracy.
Yeah, but see that doesn't make sense because later on in the film, there's an instant where the FBI gives.
Well, no, but they're not the FBI. They're the Secret Service.
Which is another question of mine. Why is the Secret Service investigating
Because the
this?
Secret Service...
Isn't Secret Service to, like, protect the president?
Yes, but they also go after things like counterfeiting money because that's part of our governmental... That's part of their oversight. So counterfeiting is the Secret Service's purview.
I see.
And so then Chance's girlfriend, Ruth...
Yeah.
tells him... that because she needs money from him, like if you get if the bust happens, you get money.
She gives him information, he gives her money. And so she tells him about this deal that's going to go down. Some guy's going to come in from San Diego.
A Chinaman's going to come from San Francisco.
With $50,000 to buy stolen diamonds.
And she says Chinaman. I'm not being racist. That's what she says in the film. A Chinaman's coming down with $50,000 to buy stolen diamonds from this hotel heist.
And she knows exactly what train he's going to be coming off of at Union Station.
And Chance says, no, I'm only interested in Play-Doh. But now he's in a situation where...
now because his agency refuses to give him
he's lost Cody. He can't get the money to get close to Masters, so he's getting desperate.
So here I still am perplexed as to this whole Secret Service thing. Like, why do they even have an office in L.A.?
The Secret Service has offices around the country.
Why?
Because of what they do. They do investigate things like counterfeiting.
Okay. Well, why can't the FBI do that?
Because that's not what the FBI does. Look, I am not an expert on law enforcement jurisdiction.
It seems a little far-fetched for me. I mean, I think the Secret Service was always like to protect the president.
Well, they do, and we see that at the beginning of the movie. But also going after counterfeiters. And by the way, this movie is based on a book.
I always thought the FBI goes after that kind of stuff.
I just want to point out that this movie is based on a book that was written by Gerald Pedovich. By the way, there's a shout out to him.
I need to investigate this because I think that this is not true.
You do not believe in Hurricane Billy's ability to bring you this kind of authenticity?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Secret Service does that, but maybe they do. I don't know. I have to investigate.
You doubt Billy Friedkin. I call him Billy as if I know him. I don't know him. I mean, I did meet him a few times. I met him at science fiction Dr. Reed events at USC.
They're saying yes that they do investigate counterfeiting.
See, well, that's what they do.
Okay. But
I mean,
wouldn't they just be in Washington? Why do they have an office in LA?
the FBI has offices all over the country.
Well, yeah, because the FBI investigates all kinds of things.
Well, the Secret Service has to have offices too. I mean,
I guess.
all right, I understand your view of the Secret Service. You think they do one thing. I get it. I understand. I'm just saying that this is part of the purview of the Secret Service.
Okay,
this movie is based on a book by Gerald Pedovich,
okay,
who
I'm
is.
sure it's all correct. I'm just trying to.
By the way, as an aside, the author of this book was in the Secret Service when he wrote this book.
Oh, then it's absolutely.
And he
true.
ran afoul of people in his own agency because people didn't like the fact that it got made into a movie. And can you imagine the jealousy? What your fellow agents would feel?
I mean.
By the way, the budget of this movie was only $6 million.
Only.
Well, I mean, for Friedkin, I mean, he made this he made Deal of the Century and The Brink's Job, which were like studio movies. If he's watching this, I'm sorry I mentioned The Brink's Job.
Okay, back to the story. Where were we?
Well, so
yes.
So he needs $30,000 to get close to Masters.
He does, and he remembers the story of the Chinaman.
The Chinaman coming
to buy stolen diamonds, and so then he goes back to
Ruth,
his booty call, and she gives him the information.
But she also knows. She goes, I know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
She knows what they're gonna do.
She does.
Yeah. She's
Yes,
like,
she
I know
does.
what you're gonna do. I want more.
She tries to negotiate more money, and then again he threatens her.
And he's like, I'll give you 5 G's.
Yeah. And she's like,
5.
I need more than that. And then she's like, I need more than that. And he's like, well, then I could revoke your parole.
I'll have your parole revoked. He's
dick.
such a dick. Stars are God's eyes. Do you think so? No, I
No.
don't. You want bread? Fuck a baker. This script in this movie is the best. I love this movie script so much.
He's so mean to her.
This movie was criticized too when it first came out. People criticized it and said that the dialogue was just too hard-boiled. It was too street. Like nobody ever said, "How are you doing today?" Like all of it was all jargon. I'm like, that's why this movie fucking rules. Is because the way people talk to each other.
People were like, "Oh, how are you?"
It's great. I mean, this movie came out when Miami Vice debuted. I mean, it is, and this was the first time Friedkin made a movie. Like he was always making movies back east. This is the first time he came out west. Not the first time, but the movie's about L.A. He never made an L.A. movie before.
It doesn't feel like LA, but
it does feel like it feels like a different L.A.
No.
Look, this movie all takes place west or pardon me, south of the 10 freeway.
Yes.
Like I've told you my theory about, well, it's not a theory, it's a truth, but when I first lived in LA, I lived inside the triangle of the 101, the 10, and the 405 freeway. Like everything, it was in the 405, the 10, and the 101. It was like this triangle, and your whole life, everything you do is in there. All the work you do.
Yeah, but I was on this side of the 101.
Yeah, well,
the cool side.
You could go out, if you don't want to go the 101, you could say the 5. If you want to go further.
Well, yeah.
Because that would include Los Feliz.
Yes.
So there you go.
The coolest neighborhood in LA.
So.
Okay, so, where were we? So yes, they decide that they're going to get this money. And so they're
going to go rip off the Chinaman. They're going to go steal the money from the Chinaman.
He tells Vukovich this, and Vukovich is appalled. Like, he's like, I don't want to do that. No. And so you see him going to Union Station and meeting up with this guy, like just scooping him up and taking him outside. And you
Thomas Ling is his name. Thomas Ling. Or his pseudonym is Thomas Ling.
In the movie?
Yeah, that's the name of the Chinaman, Thomas Ling.
But they don't use his name.
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
You hear his name over the speakers because they asked him to come to the courtesy counter. Thomas Ling, can you come to the
right.
I'm Thomas Ling.
Yeah, so he whisks him away, and at this point, you're still not sure if Vukovich is involved because he said no. But then he's the one who drives up and takes them away in the car. And then they are immediately being chased.
No. They take him under. They take Thomas Ling out, and they go like by the L.A. River underneath like the 7th Street Bridge. They drive away from L.A. Maybe they're down in San Pedro somewhere.
No, they're already being chased, and they go under the bridge to get away from these guys.
You're okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about what happens next. But yes, there are people that are following Thomas Ling.
There are two guys who come out of the train station, and they get in their car and they follow them, and then they go under the bridge and they park and they think like, oh, okay, we got away from them. And then they get the guy out of the car and they try to open the briefcase and he doesn't have the key and he just Chance starts banging the briefcase on the pylon and just is like beating the shit out of it, and it breaks open and there's a phone book in there. And so now he's pissed. And Vukovich is like, oh, well, let's just go. Like, let's just go.
And then Chance is like, you're wearing it, aren't you? You're wearing it, ain't you?
Yeah.
You're wearing it.
Take off your clothes.
The 50 grand is he's wearing it.
Yeah, so he's taking off his shirt and he finds it in pouch under his shirt.
And then suddenly not quite out of nowhere, the people that were chasing or tailing Thomas Ling suddenly show up and start shooting from the overpass.
That, he's like, they have the money and Vukovich is like, let's go. But no, he needs to make sure. So he's like, take off your pants. And that's when the other guys, like if they had left when Vukovich wanted to, the guy wouldn't have gotten shot. But anyway, these guys shoot.
And we don't know who they are. You have no idea who they are. Are they part of? We don't know anything about them.
They shoot
they shoot Thomas Ling in the back.
Thomas Ling.
They kill him.
And he's dead. And Vukovich is just can't even like believe it. He's just.
And they get in the car and suddenly they're being chased.
They're being chased
by everybody.
By 2 cars and then 4 cars and then they're doing crazy shit.
And so begins one of the most celebrated sequences in cinema history. I think William Friedkin wanted to outdo what he did in The French Connection, and we see this incredible car chase that takes us from the industrial district into the LA River, finally into the wrong direction on the freeway.
Yes. And more cars are like chasing them. It's
and
like
guns
insane.
and Vukovich is freaking out, and Chance being the adrenaline junkie, he's loving it.
He is loving it.
He's getting off on it, and Vukovich is having a mental breakdown in the back seat,
he is.
envisioning Thomas Ling being shot in the back, and this incredible.
Yeah, and so now they're going the wrong direction on the freeway, and it's an insane scene, and of course it creates all kinds of.
I mean, there's this great moment where a truck jackknifes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then blocks the entire freeway.
Peak verisimilitude.
And they jump the medium and go on to the other in the right direction, but then the bad guys are stuck. They can't get through.
Yeah.
So they do get away.
They do get away, and they're freaking out.
They're freaking out.
They don't know what happened, what was going on. All they know is they got their $50,000, so they can go give the money to Rick Masters.
Yeah.
And they can get him to print.
Yeah, and so then the next day they are in the agency and everyone's in a meeting.
And Robert Downey Sr. is giving a briefing.
It's a briefing, and he starts talking about this FBI agent that was shot and killed.
An undercover FBI agent was shot and killed by the perpetrators, not that the FBI shot their own guy.
Right.
Again, counterfeit. Nothing is quite real. Nothing is the way it's supposed to be. And basically they're accusing Vukovich and Chance of murdering an FBI agent.
Well, they didn't come out and say that.
Well, but they don't know that. But the narrative that the FBI has spun is not that their agents shot Thomas Ling in the back by accident, but that whoever was dealing with this, the people they were chasing, killed Thomas Ling.
Right, but they never say like they were agents or anything.
No, because they can't say it.
No, just somebody killed.
Somebody killed, but they didn't say like upon examination you'd know that this is a friendly fire incident. They're not going to say that. They basically the FBI has already spun it that their agents are not culpable, even though we saw the FBI shoot Thomas Ling in the back, but this is just it's a minor point, but they do say that the people that they were chasing. Chance and Vukovich, even though they don't know who they are, were the ones that killed Thomas Ling.
Oh, right. Yes, they do say that.
I know.
Okay, so then Vukovich is like, can't even believe it. They killed an FBI agent, or had an FBI agent killed, and he's freaking out.
Vukovich is freaking. Well, yeah, an FBI agent was murdered. They had no idea. I mean, they're going away for life. They're going to get the chair.
Yeah.
I mean, he's freaking out, and he goes to Dean Stockwell, Rick Masters' lawyer. You know, because he's like the best lawyer in the city. Help me out, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and Grimes.
Because the lawyer has made them believe that he really doesn't want to be Master's lawyer, or he just doesn't like, you know, he would like for him to be also put away. And so then they start trusting him and telling him things. And so so then Vukovich goes to him for advice on what to do, and he's like, well, you should take a deal.
Make a deal.
Make a deal. And you'd only go away for about 7 years, but then you wouldn't even be in there for 7 years. You'd be in there for 1.5 years. And then finally Vukovich decides that he's not going to do that to his partner.
Yeah, well, again, Grimes is getting all the information he can to his better client, Rick Masters, and is completely lying and pretending like, let me help you. He's again, another layer of counterfeit.
Yep.
You know, nothing is what it seems here. No one's loyalties are real in this movie.
Nope, not at all.
As the documentary that producer editor Bud Smith made, that was on the DVD of this, I'll tell you a story. Can I interject a story here? So when I produced with Dave Parker the DVD of The Usual Suspects,
Yeah.
MGM asked me, what movies would I like to do next? What would I like to make documentaries for? I said, what catalog titles? I said, I'd like to do Valley Girl, and I wanted To Live and Die in L.A., because I have great big love for this movie. And it turns out that Bud Smith, the supervising editor and associate producer of the film, he did the documentary because he shot material while this movie was being shot. So he was the one who did the DVD special features. So I did get Valley Girl, but I did not get this. I know that's a complete aside. I know. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
So,
where were we?
Well, now they've got the money, and Chance goes and delivers the money to Masters to get him to start making the $1 million.
Yep.
And gives 30 grand, the 30 grand of the upfront money.
Yes.
And
then what happens? I don't remember.
Well,
he gives him the money. He says he's going to start making the money.
And then they're going to have to meet again. Now, what he makes the money, and they're gonna have a meeting. They're gonna meet with Masters. Now, Vukovich, actually, Chance leaves $20,000 with Ruth. They need $30,000. The other $20,000, he leaves with Ruth, and they're gonna meet with Masters like in a week to get their money.
Yeah.
So Vukovich picks up Chance, and they go to the gymnasium to meet Masters to get their $1 million of counterfeit money.
Yep. So they brought the rest of the money, and they're going to pick up their money. And so when they get there, the bodyguard wants to frisk him, and he's like, freaks out. Don't touch me. And then Masters says, just let them up. And they come upstairs, and he's like, where's the money? And he tells them which locker it's in. And as they open the door, he pulls a gun out of the briefcase. And
Rick Masters, Major Domo, his second in command, gets a shotgun out of another locker.
Yeah. And shoots.
Richard Chance, William Peterson gets shot in the face.
In the face.
In one of the most shocking moments in cinema history. Our main character that we followed gets shot in the face by our villains.
Shot in the face, the main character, shot in the face.
Shot in the and Vukovich kills the
It was very Game of Thrones.
Very Game of Thrones. The bodyguard's killed. Rick Masters escapes, and John Vukovich is left with his dead partner shot in the face.
Yeah, and he's in shock. But then he goes to follow him, and the guy almost runs him over. And then he follows him, or he just goes to his studio.
His painting
Or
studio
his-
in downtown LA that he's been to before.
Yeah. And when he gets there, it's on fire. And he goes inside.
Yeah, literally the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I mean, the world that we've inhabited now is literally on fire.
Yes.
Rick Masters' world is on fire, and he doesn't even, like, he's just waiting there.
He's just waiting
He's
there.
waiting there because he realizes his world is over. Everything,
Yeah.
like, he used to burn his paintings, now he's burning his world down.
Yeah, he's burning all of his printing presses.
Everything.
And everything. And Vukovich goes in there and finds him, and
I mean, he tries to beat Vukovich to death with a board. Vukovich
Yeah.
shoots him. He catches on fire, and
well, Vukovich, he knocks him out with a board, and then he's like putting paper all over him because he's going to set him on fire, and then Vukovich shoots him, and Masters ends up,
burning up, literally damned to hell.
Yep.
And then the end of the movie, Vukovich goes to find Ruth.
Yes.
And says, "You're working for me now." And Bianca leaves with
Bianca, because you thought like Bianca and Masters, you thought like they're the true couple, like they seem to really love each other. But even she, leaves with the girlfriend.
with Jane Leaves from Frasier, her
Daphne.
compatriot in the avant-garde dance troupe.
That's right.
And they leave together with all of her porn tapes that she made with Rick Masters.
That's right.
And
they're
John
threesome
Vukovich
tapes.
steps up now that his soul he's damned too. He's compromised his soul enough that he can actually do the job, and he's like, "You're working for me now."
Yeah, Vukovich goes, and now, like, that poor girl, although she was pretty much a mastermind, because she knew, he even confronts her. He's like, "You knew that guy was an FBI agent. You set us up." And she doesn't answer. And then he's like, "You're going to work for me."
Yep. And the movie comes to an end.
And that's how it ends.
So, Elizabeth, what did you think of To Live and Die in L.A.?
It was interesting. Lots of layers. I liked it.
Look, I love this movie. I've probably seen this movie 50 times.
I'm not surprised.
Well, look, I love cop movies because,
I do too.
Cop movies are the modern day equivalent of Westerns or knights in shining armor. I mean, the idea of good versus evil is inherent to the stories of cops. And great cop stories, they always heighten, they're always metaphoric.
Yes.
And this film, there's so much, I think, going on in this movie in terms of the idea that what's really happening is very hard to ascertain.
Yeah.
Like, you never know who's real, who's not real, why people are doing. The irony is that...
Well, I think that it shows, like, that a person can be both a good person and a bad person. Like, you can, there's two sides to every person, everything,
Well, what's interesting is that Richard Chance is the only person in this movie who's actually completely honest.
That's true.
He says from the beginning, "I'm in a bag masters and I don't give a shit how I do it." And like John Vukovich is torn between his duty and then his partner.
Yeah.
And Ruth is playing two sides against the middle. She just needs money to,
Yeah.
or maybe she has a kid, maybe she doesn't. You never know. She goes, "Oh, I have a son. Yeah, he's coming into town." You never see the kid. You don't know.
No, you don't see him.
And Masters is friends with people, then he's not friends with people. It doesn't matter. I mean, the world, it's a counterfeit world.
It's a counterfeit world.
And this counterfeit world leaves everyone who lives in it, which is all of us, are all damned. And in a way, what I love about this film is it portrays LA as, in my mind, as purgatory. Mm-hmm. At least in the world that we inhabit. Because we don't see anything else. Like, nobody has... It's not like in Heat when Robert De Niro meets Amy Brenneman at, like, the bookstore.
Yeah.
Like, what book did you buy? There's no outside... What we see is purgatory as exemplified by the flats of Los Angeles. And I've always felt that way. I've always felt that you go to downtown LA, you go past the 10, and it's flat industrial area, and it is purgatory. It's LA as purgatory. And that's what I think that's... I mean, look at this disc cover. I mean, you can't see it. I would zoom in. But look at this disc cover. It's LA as hell.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. And everyone's soul is damned.
It's
Like
true.
all of these people are damned, and there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
There are no angels here,
No.
and that's what I love about this movie. At least this is what it means to me metaphorically.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds just about right.
So, is there anything more you'd like to say? I mean, we haven't really.
We haven't.
Did you like this? I mean, you said you liked it, but at first you
Yes.
didn't like it.
Well, I mean, I felt like the first part was a little slow.
When you said this movie was slow, I'm like, what?
It was a little slow in the beginning.
You didn't find the unraveling or the unfolding of the world, the milieu, to be compelling?
Yeah, but I felt like it should move along just a little bit quicker because it was like a lot of scenes of them just talking, and they went from one scene where they're eating hamburgers to a scene where they're in the bar. It's like kind of redundant. It's like, okay, so they're sitting and eating a hamburger, and now they're sitting in a bar. It just
That's
felt
what people do. That's what you do. Law enforcement.
right after the other. I don't know, but I liked it.
Well, I love this movie. I mean, I love everything about this movie. There's nothing about this movie I don't like. And every time I watch it, it's one of those movies. I've been watching this movie for 30 years. I saw this movie opening night. I guess it would be November 1st at the King Cinema, where I saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind on 6th and Blanchard across the street from the UA 150. The same block now. It's on the same block. It's on the other end of the block as Amazon's big geodesic headquarters. Same block, down the street, same side of the street. And I was so excited to see this movie, William Friedkin's new movie. I couldn't wait. I drove 70 miles from my college to go see it.
Oh, you couldn't see it in Evergreen?
No, it didn't open there. And I wanted to see it in the biggest theater I could see it in, and it was opening at the King.
Very cool.
And I loved it.
And you weren't disappointed?
No, I was not disappointed at all. As a matter of fact, the last time I saw this movie in the theater, I saw it on a double bill at the Arrow in Santa Monica with Michael Mann's Thief. And they played this and Michael Mann's Thief, two of my favorite crime thriller movies, and Michael Mann spoke afterwards.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that. Or have I?
I don't know, we should do Thief.
We should.
Well, listen, why don't we see what people are saying? We have letters.
Oh, okay, cool. Letters.
We have letters, ladies and gentlemen. We have letters. First letter comes from Mike F. Hi, Rob and Elizabeth. Great discussion on When Harry Met Sally, and it is one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. Perhaps my favorite Meg Ryan movie. Mm-hmm. Billy Crystal is on the top of his game here. Rob Reiner did a great job on directing it as well as Nora Ephron writing it. Mm-hmm. It's a true classic in the romance genre. Also, I just want to say that a man and a woman can be friends. I have a female best friend, a female best friend, and we've been friends for a long time now, just saying. Anyways, I would also give 4 glasses of wine to that film.
Well, Harry and Sally were friends for a long time.
Yeah, before they, humping and pumping.
Humping
Ride
and
me,
pumping.
Big Sheldon. Anyways, I would also give 4 glasses to that film because of how wonderful it is. Also, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind would be a great film to discuss on the show. For October Horror Month, I hope you will feature Hereditary by Ari Aster. Well, we are featuring Midsummer. Or
I
Mother.
wouldn't mind doing Hereditary also.
But you gotta do
like
Midsummer. No, we have to. We can't double up on directors.
Yeah, you're right. Because there's not enough time.
I don't know if you're fans of those films, but I think they're great recommendations. Thank you, and have a better
I have
night.
not seen Mother, but I did want to see that.
We did watch some of Mother once.
No.
Yeah, we did.
That wasn't with me.
Yeah, it was with you in our house, in our bedroom.
Wait, which one is Mother?
It was the one where J-Law. We'll talk about it. You've seen it. We watched it. And then this next letter comes from John, who lost Carmelo, his father.
Aww.
We talked about today.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The official father of the Burnettwork passed away this weekend. Hail, Rob and Liz. I remember when this movie came out. This is When Harry Met Sally. Hey, Rob and Liz, I remember when this movie came out. I just started a job at a local hometown pharmacy, and our drivers were local high school kids who were band musicians. The one had been following Harry Connick Jr. right along, kind of sparse instrumental piano stuff, not my thing, but Stompin' at the Savoy from the soundtrack of When Harry Met Sally became our store anthem along with Winter Wonderland. at any time of year from the When Harry Met Sally soundtrack. The guys got in touch with Harry Connick Jr.'s booking agent, who appreciated their enthusiasm and would get us backstage passes whenever he played in the area.
That's awesome.
When he came to Erie, the whole store, 16 employees, went on my boss's dime. We use his concerts for meetups to this day. I've seen him 9 times.
Wow.
That's how many times Ferris Bueller was absent from school that his mother didn't know about. 9 times. And every time I'm brought back to those wonder times that great movie soundtrack started. Cheers to When Harry Met Sally. Live long and prosper. Be seeing you, John, or JPRPH1, and Carmelo. P.S. Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan were good in it too.
Wow, that's so cool.
That is cool. So let's see what people are saying over here in our chat. I don't even know where we're at. Let's see. Let's go back. Timbula the Spider Monkey sends in a tip and says, "Hey, Rob and Ace. Unfortunately, my internet is having major problems today, my main argument for keeping physical media, so I won't be able to watch live. I just had to drop a comment and a few quatloos your way to say, yep, I love this film as well."
Oh, cool. Thank you.
That's very nice of you, Tim. Thank you a lot. Roberto Suarez is here. Roberto says, "I recently had the privilege or the pleasure of introducing my oldest son to this film. He was as shocked as I was more than 30 years ago with the third act turn. It has my all-time favorite car chase and amazing performance by the grossly underrated William Peterson." Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Claudia's here. Agent Claudius is here. Elizabeth, Rob is correct. The Secret Service was created on July 5th, 1865 in Washington, D.C. to suppress counterfeit currency. It was part of the Department of Treasury for years before becoming part of the Department of Homeland Defense.
Well, that was their first job.
That was their first job.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better.
Apparently people were trying to steal American currency.
They still are.
Mm-hmm. Roberto Suarez sends in another tip and says, "FYI, Elizabeth, until 2003, the Secret Service was part of the Department of the Treasury, as the agency was founded in 1865 to combat the then widespread counterfeiting of U.S. currency. Great minds think alike." Roberto goes on to say, "The Secret Service had 136 field offices and field agencies and a headquarters in Washington, D.C. The service's offices are located in cities throughout the United States and the world."
What? The world?
The world.
What are we doing in the world with the Secret Service?
I know. Garen Gilliam is here. "I grew up in San Pedro and was in junior high when this was filmed. I worked with the Secret Service in the 90s. When I took my wife, then girlfriend, to Pedro the first time, she said, 'This looks like the Shield.' I said, 'Nah, babe, this is to live and die in L.A.' And she said, 'Whatever.'" Whatever. Agent Claudius is here. Is Steve James in "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka," surrounded by police cars. So it's just you and 57 cops against Kung Fu Joe, master of Kung Fu, karate, jiu-jitsu, and all kinds of other shit you ain't never heard of. Ha 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 ha. Well, it was funny in '88. It's still funny now. Look, let's drink to Steve James. I love me some Steve James. Rest in peace, Steve. You will always be my American ninja. More than Michael Dudikoff. Claudius goes on to say, "Bonjour, mon ami." How do you say that now?
Bonjour, mon ami.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Oui.
Oui, okay. Did you guys watch Amazon's series Bosch? If yes, what do you think of LA's portrayal in Bosch? Do you think Friedkin's depiction of LA is accurate? That's a really good question. We watched some Bosch.
Yeah, the first couple seasons.
Yeah, you know what? I don't necessarily. I like Bosch. I mean, I've zipped.
Yeah, I mean, it was. We loved the first 2 seasons, and then it just got kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Michael Connelly books, but I don't find Bosch to be that authentic.
I don't remember.
I mean, it always seemed too much. I mean, it's good. I like Bosch a lot.
When I think of Bosch, I think of we almost rented that house up in Alhambra that overlooked the same scene that you see from his apartment.
Right. That's right.
That's every time I think of Bosch, I think of that house.
Is that because we went and looked at houses?
Yeah, when we were looking for houses before we found this one, we went and saw that house up in Alhambra.
Right.
Yeah, and it had the view, and I remember
I love that house up the hill.
The person showing us the house kept saying, like, this is the same view that you see in the show Bosch.
Right. Yeah.
It was a pretty cool view too.
I mean, look, I think to live and die in LA, what's really interesting to me is there is a in the entertainment industry, you don't exist ever in the places where you don't go to San Pedro. You don't see industrial LA.
Yeah.
But industrial LA is a real thing. I mean,
oh yeah,
and it hasn't changed much. Mm-hmm. I mean, downtown LA has changed a lot. I mean, it's been gentrified in the industrial areas. You know, they turn lofts expensive.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you go down to San Pedro, it looks the same as it does in like where Ruth lives. You're looking at the big bridge and all that. But
I don't consider that part of LA. Like, that's a separate city.
Well, it is. Okay, San Pedro is a separate city, but it's the port of Los Angeles.
Yes, it's the port.
You know, it's a gigantic, so it is part
it's
of
a huge port.
Yeah, and I think that what's interesting about this movie is like Rick Masters never goes to Hollywood parties. You know, he goes to like avant-garde theater. That's the most you see is like, I'm gonna go see my girlfriend dance. And where is that club? Like, I don't know where those people are. Like, that seemed a little. There are those places, but it's like that's her job. She goes to avant-garde dance halls.
Well, they're both artists. It's an art performance.
Right. Yeah, and that, I mean, that could be. So I think that the LA of To Live and Die in LA is authentic. I mean, I do. I feel it's authentic.
Yeah, it's authentic. It's just not places that most people go to.
The problem is nobody only exists in that world. Like Rick Masters would go to Hollywood parties, you know, and he would be...
Or he would at least live... I mean...
Yeah, I mean... his house looks like it's in the hills. Or,
yeah.
Like, you're not in Bel Air, but like...
Yeah, that house, that 80s house, I love that thing. I want it.
It's either in Los Feliz or the hills, but you don't know.
With the teal green accents and the glass block accents and the rounded corners. I was like, oh, I love this. Feels so.
But by
80s.
the way, if you were burning paintings in your backyard, somebody would call the cops and report you.
Absolutely.
They'd be like, my name is
in California,
burning
that's so
paintings
dangerous.
in his backyard.
I mean,
yeah, but some busybody would.
You have like a sex reveal party for your child and you burn half of LA.
There's a South Park episode coming. You know it is. You know it is. Claudia says, When Harry Met Sally is one of the best movies on life in New York City. No, everyone doesn't own a kick-ass loft apartment. Some people, however, live in rent-controlled penthouse. Friends. Hashtag friends. He has friends that do.
He's talking about the show Friends.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, that's not... Yes, okay. You can inherit a rent control apartment, but how many people do?
But you know what? Even Friends is 25 years old. Like, New York has completely changed. Even the first time I went to New York was in 1990. I went 30 years ago. And the last time I was in New York was in January. And it's changed.
It has changed.
A lot.
But, like, how do people get those gorgeous apartments? And it was like all of them had those gorgeous apartments.
Yeah, because it was 1988.
But even in 88, the apartments were expensive. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it was. Roberto Suarez says, the names of the leads are metaphorical. Masters, the mastermind. Chance, always taking a chance against the odds. Vukovic, by the book. Jimmy Hart, the heart and soul of the job. His death sends William down the path of corruption. Ooh, I like that.
Interesting. Wow, okay.
That's very literary, Roberto.
That
I never thought of it that way. Say, I've learned something new on the show about this movie today.
That makes a lot of sense. I like that.
I do too. Philip Alvarez says, why not horror comedies like Arachnophobia, Tremors, or Zombieland for October?
I love Zombieland.
I don't know why. Should we do comedies?
Yeah, let's do Zombieland.
Yeah, but
What? You don't like comedy. That's the problem.
no, I like comedies, but I feel like you know what? Comedies are a genre send up, and I feel that. I mean, we could do comedies. Someone said you've got to do. Yeah, there's so many great horror films in the world. So many overlooked horror movies. That's why I want to show Mario Bava's Black Sunday, because it's such a lyrical and beautiful.
Yeah, but if you're gonna show a bunch of obscure, films,
That's not
nobody's
obscure.
gonna watch the show. That's the problem.
Do you just want views and clicks? Is that what you're saying?
No, but it should be a nice mix of, introducing people to films, but also we need the interaction. Like,
I
there's
know.
only like 50 people watching while we're talking about it. It just kind of there's not that. It's kind of a slow show at that point.
I know, like this one.
Yeah, there's only 85 people watching.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I get it. This movie is not exactly a giant. It's not Ghostbusters.
We should do Ghostbusters.
No, we shouldn't do Ghostbusters. Look, if we're gonna do any horror comedy, we should do Return of the Living Dead.
Yes.
That's what we should do. Return of the Living Dead, 80s comedy, punk rock horror.
What's the one, the zombie one?
That is a zombie one.
No.
Send more
No,
cops.
Not such an old one. Isn't there a newer
Old
zombie?
one? Old one? How do you define old? This movie's 35 years old. Is that
This is old. This is old.
Return of the Living Dead is, I think, 86.
Anyway, let's make a schedule.
We're going to make a
We
schedule.
need to sit down like tonight or tomorrow and make a schedule.
I can see this is going to go well.
So what is our next movie?
Well, I think we should kick off. Halloween early.
I think so too.
So Wednesday is September 30th.
Yes.
And I think that we should begin our Halloween, the Halloweener,
Yes.
the Rocktober
Yes.
of Halloween. We should start with all horror films begin. They would go from September 30th to October 30th.
Let's do
Is
it.
all horror. Is all horror. Do you think that's the
Yes,
case?
I do. Let's do it.
So you're saying we should watch a horror film on Wednesday?
I think we should.
Do you have any suggestions? It's your show.
Well, I mean, Wednesdays are usually your day to pick.
Okay, so you're saying I should pick.
And you are the horror master.
All right. Well, okay, fine. I'm going to pick a classic horror film
Okay.
that I love. Now it's almost like quaint, like a children's movie. But I love it.
Are people going to watch?
Yes.
What is it?
I pick for Wednesday, our movie is going to be Don Coscarelli's 1979 Phantasm.
Okay.
Phantasm. I even have a ball that you can play with.
Yes. I want to play with the ball.
You can play with the ball.
Where's the ball?
The ball is up there, but I'll bring it down and you can play with the ball.
Great.
So we are going to watch Phantasm on
For Wednesday.
For Wednesday, kicking off our horror movie.
Yep.
Claudia says, Elizabeth, according to a 2019 survey from the Rent Guidelines Board, 22,000 apartments are rent controlled at NYC. The median rent is $1,039.
Damn. I want a rent control apartment.
Yeah, where are those? Where are those? Philip Alvarez says, okay, warm bodies for Romance Saturday. Yeah, I mean, that's okay, but I think that we can do better.
I don't know.
I think Romance Saturday should be something like Rosemary's Baby. Yes. Young married couple, all their hopes and dreams. I mean,
yeah.
We gotta be fun about it. Like Rosemary's Baby. Like, hey, we're gonna have a baby. You have to sit down and watch while your wife is raped by Satan, who comes up from hell in a witch's coven. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
so. All right, so we're doing Phantasm
Okay,
Wednesday.
Phantasm Wednesday.
So the next one, whether it's Friday, you have to pick.
I will. We'll
Romance
make a whole
Friday.
schedule.
Yeah, we're gonna work up a whole schedule, which we have to announce. So on
Yeah.
Friday we'll announce the whole schedule.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well then, we're done. So on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses, what is our bottoms up scale?
Our bottoms up scale is from 1 to 4 glasses because there are 4 glasses in a bottle.
And Elizabeth, what would you give To Live and Die in L.A.?
I will give it 3.5 glasses.
3.5 glasses. I too have to give To Live and Die in L.A. 3.5 glasses. I can't give it 4
Why not?
because The Exorcist is 4. French Connection is 4. Sorcerer might very well be 4. Even Cruising to certain people might be 4. To Live and Die in L.A. is 3.5.
Okay, that's fair.
As far as Hurricane Billy's oeuvre. Yeah, you can't say 4 because Exorcist is 4. This movie is not 4.
Okay.
As much as I love it. I mean, I understand that there are movies that I love that are not 4-star movies. Even though in my heart they are. In my heart of hearts.
So you give this 2 scores. In your heart, it's 4, and to outwardly,
The
it's
public
3.5.
score. The public score I have to give it. Yes.
Okay.
So, all right then.
However you figure that out in your head, that's fine.
You know, I know. I just want to point out that I do have 6 versions of this movie
I'm not surprised.
on Blu-ray. One of them I don't own yet.
What? Why
I've
did
ordered
you
it, but I don't have it.
Why? Why? If you already have 6.
I have 5.
Why?
You'll see. I got it for you.
For me?
Yeah. You'll see.
What do you mean?
I didn't know it existed. Until we were doing this show, I did some research, and I found out, I like to get versions of films from around the world. The very best version of this movie that I did not know existed
I don't know what you're talking
is
about.
from France.
Of course it is.
The best version of To Live and Die in L.A. ever. Dieter Bastian got me what I thought was the creme de la creme. The media book from Germany.
Okay.
I thought that was it. I was wrong.
Well, can we get rid of the other 5 then?
No. No,
What
we
are you
cannot.
going to do with 6 copies of the same film?
Gaze upon the shelf with our,
Yeah. Why? How many more times are you going to watch this film?
in my life.
You have to watch 6 more times. Like, you have to watch each disc at least once.
No, you don't. Not really.
So there's discs on the shelf that you've never watched. Oh, I know there are.
There are discs on the shelf
A
I've
lot
never watched.
of them.
Not a lot, but there's some.
Half.
Not half.
Half.
No way.
Half.
No.
Some are still in the shrink wrap.
Yeah, but I've bought copies of things I've seen a million times. Like,
Yeah, so why do you need multiple copies?
it's a thing. It's just a thing. Like, what does it matter? You don't need to understand.
You don't need to understand my crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. I think it's important. Anyway, I think we should end this has turned into a long show.
Oh my god.
90 minutes.
We should go. Feed the dog.
We should go and feed the dogs. All right, well, you have to take us out.
Sorry. Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen.
That's, well, you know what? I feel bad that, this angle, that's not a bad angle, but I don't know what happened to I hope that's not going to, I got to figure out why the camera went out.
Fix it.
Like, I'll try and fix it.
You think it's broken permanently?
You never know. I mean, we do run these cameras hard.
But it's part of the computer.
I understand that, but components can go out. I don't know. I'll have to look.
How are you going to have Zoom meetings?
Well, that's it. If the main camera's out, it's very distressing. But I can actually hook up. I've got multiple cameras I can put there.
No, I get that part. Can you use an external camera on
Yes.
Zoom?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can. I just don't know why our camera went out. That's very strange.
Very strange.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys
All
and girls,
right.
kind souls, gentle beings from across the 28 known galaxies, there are 3 more days left for the Imagination Connoisseur poster contest for the first annual Intergalactic Imagination Connoisseurs Film Festival. You have until midnight on the 30th Pacific time. I will not accept any contributions after that. And then we open up the festival on October 1st. Very exciting. So make your movies, send in your poster contest entries. Very exciting. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
And on that note,
Have a better night.
have a better night. Or as BL Alley would say, have a butter knife. Thanks very much. And I want to thank my moderating staff, Mr. Derringer, Robert Pariso, Joshua Levesque. Who else is here? I guess just you guys are. The Richard is here. So there you go. And Wednesday, we will be watching Phantasm.
Yep. I'll be
You
playing
play a
it.
good game, boy. But the game is finished. Now you... That's another movie I can recite.
Oh my god.
Now you die. Anyway, are you sure it wasn't that retarded kid Timmy up the street? That's a line from Phantasm. Don't pillory me on social media. Jody says that to Mike. These things were here and they were going to get me. Just saying. Anyway, Phantasm is another favorite movie of mine. I'll have my Phantasm one sheet behind us. Be good, right?
We should do Shivers.
Oh no. I just got the new Blu-ray of Shivers. We should absolutely do Shivers.
And what's the one with
Early
with
Cronenberg.
where the baby comes out?
Come on, you just spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, ruin the end of the movie. That would be The Brood.
Brood.
I
love those movies. And the computer that
Demon Seed.
Demon Seed. I love Demon Seed.
Okay, well, Demon. I live. Okay, I don't know if we can do The Brood because you just ruined the ending. But Shivers we should
Nobody
do.
was listening.
Shivers we could do. People were listening.
There's only 83 people here.
Yeah, but it's recorded. Shivers we should definitely do.
Shivers is hilarious.
Well,
I love it.
Hilarious. It's very.
I mean, it's yes.
Let's do Shivers. Last week I got the brand new Vestron.
I want to do Demon Seed.
You really do want to do it? Is Demon Seed a horror movie or a science fiction movie?
You're right. It's not horror. What about the head? More passion.
That's Reanimator. We should do
Reanimator.
Well, I might be able to get Barbara Crampton to come on to be our special guest.
That'd be cool.
When we do whining about movies. Oh, you know what?
We don't have enough. There's not enough days in October to do all these films.
You know what? I'm going to contact her and ask her if she'll come on our show.
Do Reanimator.
Yeah, do Reanimator. Yeah. Why not? I did interview her for the 500th episode. How funny would that be?
That'd be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. So our 80th show is going to be Phantasm. I'll send her a letter and go, hey, I'll send her our show. Say she can see what we do.
Yeah.
Come on, we're going to do Reanimator for Halloween. You want to come on and talk and be our guest? Mm-hmm.
Can you
Oh. So anyway,
yeah,
we should end our show.
Poor dogs.
We're rambling. We're just rambling. Anyway, thanks to the moderating staff. Thanks for supporting the channel. Send us letters to the Burnettwork.net.
Yes. Good night.
Good night. Sleep tight and pleasant dreams to you.
And watch Phantasm.
And watch Phantasm. Boy. We're hot as love, you know. Just sitting here at midnight. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. I'm just... Okay, never mind. I love Phantasm. Have a better knife.
Bye,
Butter
guys.
knife.